If you ever want to veer off and do a Frank Stallone podcast, let me know.
No, that won't happen.
Any of you people out there that find humor in this, you're really a sick, vapid person. You got no soul. Do you think it's funny? This is a sick society. This has gone beyond the pale. You people should be ashamed of yourself.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy? This is episode 31, officially.
Woo!
Dom, this is the 31st episode we've done.
Can you imagine? This is like a form of torture for somebody, like just listening to this podcast.
I don't know who listens. People do. I don't know why, but they do. We have a special returning guest co-host with us today, Zip, the Francophile. How you doing, Zip?
Hey, good. I want to say that I went to work and we have like a parking garage and it's shift work, so we all get there at the same time. And I wasn't thinking, and as I was like opening the door, it went from one podcast to y'all's, and it was blaring the Frank Stallone song. So all my coworkers just thought I was listening to Frank Stallone recreationally. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. That's the only way to listen to Frank is recreationally.
Oh yeah, I get it. And then I love the clip y'all have added at the beginning of him. So when I first heard that, I thought it was him talking about you guys. I was really excited.
I mean, it's probably not too far off how he really feels about the podcast.
I mean, think about what he's done to his own son. And then think about what he's going to do to you. You know?
Okay, well, we're going to get into it, guys. He is a guest. Again, he is also a returning guest, I should say, on the Mike. How do you pronounce his last name, Dom?
Torchia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the name of this podcast is Live Well and Thrive. That's the name of the podcast. And, of course, Mike, at the very beginning of his podcast, he shows a picture of his face at the beginning. That's
the very altered picture.
Am I supposed to know who he is?
Of course, he's Mike Torchia.
In his eyes,
what's he famous for?
Working out, and he's been with other people.
That's where you lose me. Yep.
Yeah.
Resemblance to Freddy Krueger. You know, that's probably what he's known for.
Don't you work in the paramedic field, Zip?
I do.
You saw Mike in a car accident, you would think he's a burn victim. That's probably like, quick, get him out! Get the jaws of life! And
my
like,
God!
I'm parking my car.
What degree burns are these?
Now I gotta look him up again.
Now you've heard it before. Have you heard the episode that we covered, but you didn't see?
Yeah. But again, I usually listen, so I don't see physically him. Mercifully.
Okay, let's get into it, folks. We don't want to keep the audience waiting too much. Let's just say it kicks off right away. Right away.
He comes in hot.
Hi, this is Mike Torchia, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very dear friend. You all know Frank Stallone, so Frankie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. I love the setup here. It's great.
I love the setup here. It's two blue curtains.
In a garage. Frank has a pimp cane. Like he has a pimp cane now.
That was the first thing I saw immediately. I was like, oh, he's walking with a cane. But not just any, because he can't have like the old person cane that you get at like Walgreens with a tennis ball on it. He's got to look like a baron or something.
Yeah, he's got the pimp cane. I think it's the Tombstone cane. He's got his sunglasses because the studio lights are bright and Mike Torchia's studio here.
You know, Frank Stallone, the star of Tombstone.
Should say that at the bottom.
I do love how he says, I love what you've done with the place. A couple curtains, TV screen in the middle there.
Yeah, it's one big family. We love
very nice.
Good energy here, and we always love when you come on and share your stories.
Yeah.
So, Frank, what's going on with your music career?
Oh, here we go. That was right away.
That was right out the gate.
What is going on with your
What's
music
going
career?
on?
That's my first note, obviously.
See, this is what I don't understand. Mike and Frank are supposed to be friends. I feel like we know more about Frank's career than Mike does. Like, if I was interviewing Frank, I actually wouldn't ask this question because I know there's nothing going on.
Nothing is going on.
How come we know this, but Mike doesn't know this?
I will say that the previous episode with where he was on the what was the cowtails?
The cow cells or whatever the hell.
The cow cells was the most secondhand embarrassment I've had in a long time. I was close at multiple times to being like, I can't keep listening to this. This is horrible. this is agony.
I love it. All right. So the first question is, how goes your music? Here we go. And right away, he blames the failure of his career on the industry. It's the industry's fault that he can't make it into the industry itself.
Well, music, as you know, has changed a lot. I come from the singer-songwriter era, where you had to really play an instrument and you had to write and you had to be a good singer and all around.
Unlike what, Frank? Unlike today, the industry is full of people that write and play their own music.
Ryan, they're all in their one-bedroom apartment.
They're using auto-tune,
Apple Beats and Apple Loops and... Nobody can play the guitar,
I saw last year at this time, I saw Metallica play 2 nights in a row in Montreal. I think they're writing their own music and playing their own instruments.
Yeah.
But they're of Frank's era.
But yeah, okay, fine. Let me pick a new one. I'm actually seeing Hailstorm and Evanescence in October. Do they count? They play their own instruments and sing their own songs. According to Frank, yes, you're right, Zip. Everyone from his era was able to do this. Everyone who's popular today is not doing this. And that's just actually not true. It's just not true.
A lot of these young guys with Pro Tools or stuff like that or Logic are making albums at home. And they're not even musicians. I mean, some of them are, but most of them are just, sampling. They're making like hit albums in their front room, in their little apartment. All of a sudden it goes crazy.
Okay. So there's 2 schools of thought here. Let's just pretend this is true. Let's just pretend Johnny Appleseed is in his living room and he creates an album that becomes a #1 hit. This is basically what he's saying. My response to that then is, well, it's capitalism. If this is what people want and this is what they're getting and Johnny Appleseed's providing it, then there's nothing you can do about that, Frank. You would have to live in this world where, yes, this is what's being done. Now, that's not that easy. If you gave me all the things that he's mentioning about a computer and all this stuff, I still wouldn't be able to compose any kind of music. I still couldn't do it. But Frank's idea is just because it's done on a computer or uses sampling or whatever it is that he is saying, almost like the public isn't allowed to like it. Like if nobody's buying it, people are buying it for a reason, Frankie. You don't have to like that reason, but this is the world you live in.
A lot of this interview, he comes off very bitter. This is like very bitter Frank, just like he's not happy with his career and he shits on like anybody who's doing music. But what does it make a difference if the music's selling? That's actually a positive, I think, that like people don't need to go to a recording studio or spend all this money that they might have had to. They could do it on a computer. If they're talented, let them live.
Is he saying that they're just doing computer sounds or they're using real instruments with a home studio? I'm a little confused.
I think he's just saying more like, because all those Pro Tools, you could basically edit your song yourself and stuff like that, right? You could record now. We have the equipment to do that. You could put layers of music and do all that. And now I guess he looks at that like that's frowned upon in Frank Stallone's eyes.
The bitterness is especially depressing because he's 74. It's over.
It's over, Frank.
Nothing is over. Easy, Sly. Easy.
As you can tell from this podcast, nothing is over.
All right. He goes on. This is the first few minutes. He comes in hot. There's so much clippable from the first few minutes.
So, basically, I think now more or less I rely on concerts, Of course, publishing helps.
Now he says he relies on concerts. He has not played an official concert since that Atlantic show in 2022. He's played a couple like whatever gigs, and we'll get into some of that, what those gigs are. But a concert, a tour, his last big show was for the reality show, The Stallones, in 2022, and that's why that one happened because Sly was actually at that event hosting.
Right.
he made $25 million off that appearance, so that's all he needs is
No, he
one
didn't.
concert every decade.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
How-
he did. 25 million American. No, I know, I made that up. But
He talks about publishing. This is very key here. He brings it up. Mike will then tag it, and he catches himself because he brings up something that he actually doesn't have.
I had a good run for a while, so the publishing helps. Actually, I am promoting with a few friends of mine to have. I had like a number one record, Far From Over, for Donald Trump's rally.
He brought up publishing. Do you see how quickly he kind of got off of that publishing? Because Mike's going to bring up a question here to bring it back. But he's saying like, oh yeah, I had that number one record, Far From Over. I want to use that for Trump's rally. And there's a reason why he would like to use it for Trump's rally, and he'll bring that up.
he seems to be really putting a lot of chips on to be the official rally song of the Trump
Donald
campaign.
Is I am down, but I am far from over. So if that gets on, that's big. That's
And you own the rights to that song.
Okay, first Frank says, if that gets on, like if this becomes the mantra or the theme for Donald Trump's campaign, that's big, that's huge. Now, Mike then asks the question, do you have the publishing rights? Check out his answer.
I have my writers, like most writers, we all got screwed on our publishing because, you know, what they would do in those days, they basically take advantage of you because, you know, this was, for me, I've been knocking around since 1965. So when Staying Alive came out, and all of a sudden I was fortunate, they ended up liking my music, and, you know, I didn't have a pot to pee in at that time. So they would always give you a take it or leave it.
Very telling here. What's happened to him is the same thing that happened to Sly at the same time. He's telling a bit of truth here. He's saying, look, we were desperate. I've been kicking the can around forever since I was 15 years old. He always brings up 15 years old. I've been playing music. I finally get my big break. They like my music, ironically. He's saying, I can't believe it. The public likes my music. He gave up his publishing rights to the company so that it would go big. It's kind of like, hey, we got a hit record here, but we're going to own this record. Here's $1 million check, whatever it might have been at the time, which would have been huge for him. He says, I didn't have a pot to piss in, which indicates he's very poor. Same thing happened to Sly with the Rocky character. Sly sold or gave the rights to MGM saying, fine, you can own the character. Thanks for the big hefty paycheck. Because that's what he was saying here is, we'll publish this record for you, but we're going to own the music. Here's $1 million. That's exactly what he's saying. He does not have the publishing rights. He doesn't get any royalties from that song the same way that Sly doesn't own Rocky. It's just interesting that both brothers sort of sold their soul to the companies for their product, and that's what he's saying here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you don't want to do it? You don't want to give us yeah, we'll get someone else. And I'm figuring, man, I've been banging around a long time. So, and I had 9 songs in the movie. So, but I'm not the only one. Most artists have been screwed out of their publishing, and that's where the money is.
That's where the money is, and he doesn't have it.
How would he make money off that?
He'll bring up what he thinks will do it for him. Because right now he's saying he's not getting basically a dime from any Spotify plays or anything like that from Far From Over. He doesn't have the publishing rights. For example, Bruce Springsteen just sold his publishing rights to his music.
Right.
What was it, 500 million or something?
Something
like
like that, yeah.
Now the reason why Bruce does it, let's be honest, he's going to be dead soon.
Yeah.
Right, 10 years, whatever. So he knows he's going to die. He's going to leave a big lump of cash for his family. That's why he's doing it, because he's like, whatever you want.
I noticed that's like a trend now with a lot of these older artists. They're
Billy
doing
Joel
that.
did it too?
Yeah, they're talking about that. They're like, oh, I'm going to sell my rights or whatever.
Because then the estate doesn't have to deal with treating it as an IP. They just get the cash. Because
That's right. That's right. And so what Frank did is he did the same thing that Bruce did.
But he's got no songs, basically. I'm actually selling my publishing rights to my songs too.
That's what Frank did. Frank sold his rights for one record. So you can imagine Bruce's catalog versus Frank's catalog.
Right. They're comparable. They got all the hits.
They have all the hits.
Also, Frank has no one to give this money to when he is dead.
No. But Dom, he's going to answer your question as to what he feels the reason this will be big to get his song on the campaign trail.
Smart artists like Paul Simon, they kept their publishing. Dylan, because I didn't have anybody. I didn't have management.
They had songs that people liked. That's why they kept it. They were talents that drew people. Even in the 70s, they had draws. So did Bruce. They knew they had something special. They kept it close to the vest for a reason. They didn't want to sell their souls. They knew what they had. They said, record companies be damned. I'm going to keep pumping out good music and then eventually become the superstars that they were. Paul Simon, Bruce, people from his era did it correctly. That's what whatever.
Right.
Or anything like that. So, but if you had like Irving Azoff, you're definitely keeping your publishing. But that's where the money is. The writing is okay, but it's mostly the publishing is where the money is.
Which he does not get. He keeps saying that's where the money is, but he also said,
I don't have it.
I don't have it.
But the thing is, if that song gets to be one of the songs during the campaign, I mean, it's played all over the world, which brings, the magnifying glass back to you, which means more concerts.
Always scheming. Eye on the prize, Frank. Also, the campaign is almost over.
He's far from over, Zip, actually. But I want to know how he's approaching this. Is he contacting the people, Donald Trump's people?
Of course, they're friends. Remember? He posted that picture.
Right,
they're best
right,
friends.
right.
They're like close friends. Of course, Frank and Donald talk all the time together. Here's the thing. His song is not being used right now for the campaign trail, but look, this is actually kind of sad. I feel this is a part of me. I feel bad for him because he said it, so he must think it. He's thinking in his mind. The dream is the song is played at these rallies, and everyone's like, far from over. People are like, who sings this song? And they're like, it's Frank Stallone sings this song. I really want to buy a ticket and watch this guy play it live. It's just not enough to hear it at a rally. I got to see it live. And that's what he's saying, that people are going to now just buy tickets, go to these venues to see him, creator of this song, play it live, because he just said that's where the money is now. And he's right. Even bands like Metallica and Bruce, they're making money from the venues. That's where they're making their money. Taylor Swift, they're making money from these huge concerts, not from record sales anymore. Frank wants in on that, and that's his song. He's going back to the well. He's like, if I can get that song out there, he thinks he can fill stadiums again, or ever, or at all. Okay, he mentions it. Yeah, he does talk about the gig that it was sold out, I think, because of Sly being there, right?
Definitely.
I mean,
Now, the last time you performed, you were at the Hard Rock in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City with John Cafferty and Beaver Brown. It was.
Can we talk about him chewing on ice through the episode too?
Why? I'm going to stop doing that on the podcast, just chewing on ice.
He did it a lot here, and he does it a lot at the end again. But he keeps mumbling and chewing on the ice. He just drinks. I guess they give him like an iced coffee or alcohol. I'm not sure which, but I couldn't really see what's in the glass. It might have been iced coffee, but he's drinking, but he's chewing. It's not like chewing on ice is never a good thing, but let alone doing it during a talking interview probably isn't the best thing to do. I could be wrong.
Great. We sold it out.
Yes, we sold it out because Sly was there.
100%.
That's all.
It was great to be back on stage. But that's why there's really no excuse. If you've had a lot of hit records and you suck, all you got to do is play the hit records. I mean, they know all the songs. You'd have to be really bad to bomb. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine going to a Frank Stallone gig or concert and he doesn't play Far From Over? It is his hit.
But also, he's acting like that's like a groundbreaking revelation.
Right.
To play.
He's acting like he has more than one hit.
Yes.
That too, yeah.
It is a very short concert. And I think he talks about he only plays for like 30 to 45 minutes because of that. Like, I think it's hard for him to drag out an hour's worth of music that anyone would even be remotely care about, other than just Take You Back and his other little hit from I forget the other hit that he had from Over the Top or something.
Some people just want to hear music. So you have to really kind of know it. Jimmy Buffett was a great performer because he was very personable, and he's really good, but he's very personal. The guy had one hit record. He was making $1 million a night near the end. I mean, he had everything going on, but he was great with his audience. He was very personable. He's funny. His songs were funny, some of them. He was great, But he came up. He had like one hit record, but he worked, went out there and worked. And he built an audience, and he.
Wait a minute. How's that any different than Frank?
Yeah, one hit record.
Frank, that's you. That's literally you. And unlike Jimmy, you're not making $1 million a night.
Well, Jimmy Buffett, like, he turned his whole thing into like a lifestyle and the Margaritaville and the restaurants and stuff like that. That surpassed his music.
Now, did you guys notice throughout this interview, I actually have this, I pay for ChatGPT Pro, which is fantastic. What it will do.
AI, right?
Yeah, what it will do, it'll actually it'll read the YouTube transcripts, and so it's very helpful for like, hey, can you tell me the timestamp thing isn't very accurate, unfortunately, but it can tell you like how many times did Frank bring up this, or what did he mention about that, or whatever video you're doing that has a transcript. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT how many different celebrities or artists did he bring up in the interview? How many names did he drop? Did you catch how many names he dropped throughout this interview?
Always dropping names. I want to say at least 30.
52.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
That many.
It's like
52. Like every name from the Elvis Presley to Tina Turner to Metallica, Prince, Taylor Swift. It would take me, a minute and a half to 2 minutes just to read every single name. So I just make note of that he brought up at least 52 different artists or celebrities throughout this interview. And in an hour and 20 minutes, that's basically one a minute.
That's how he survives. He's just got to name people that he's better than.
There's nothing wrong with doing newer things, stuff like that, but they want to hear what they paid for.
Well, I notice with your shows, whenever you perform, it's almost like a combination of your.
Yeah. Do you hear that?
Hear the ice, you just hear the ice, like.
And I went to see Dylan, who to me is one of the greats. I actually had the best seats you could get at the Nokia. I walked out after 40 minutes. I said it was horrible. He didn't talk to the audience at all. Most of the time his back was to the audience, and he was singing like this. I said, what songs is he singing? I don't even know what the hell he's singing. Yeah, we're thinking, so the whole audience is there. They want to see her blowing in the wind, just like a woman, positively 4th Street, like a Rolling Stone. All these great songs. Times are changing. Nothing.
Well, I hope this Bob Dylan guy recovered from this bad show. I mean,
I just find it funny because I'm a Bob Dylan fan, and like I can understand that because his voice isn't really there. Not that he ever really had a great voice anyway, but like I can understand that as a fan being like, oh, but like you're talking shit about somebody. What about your concerts? Like you're gonna say all that shit? I don't know. He's taking a chance there. Not that anybody's gonna hear about it, but to shit on somebody. And then we've seen the video clips of Frank Stallone concerts. I mean, we've seen them.
The ramblings of an old man.
I couldn't even see the audience. There was so much smoke. Everyone smoked in those days, and it's just like whew, like a blue cloud. I mean, I would come home, wake up in the morning, and my clothes, and I had really long hair there. It was like, oh my God. It was just like a sponge for tobacco and alcohol. It was like your clothes stunk and stuff. So, but you know what? I wouldn't give those years away for anything. It was, you're young, you're idealistic, you're watching the Beatles. I was playing Beatles and Stones songs when I was a kid.
Could you track that conversation?
So they play on the weekends, but make no mistake, when they say this guy's the greatest guitar player that you've seen. There's guys, even Clapton, those guys will say, man, I've seen guys in bars that are scary, that they're that good, but it's circumstantial.
But didn't, I guess Elvis Presley get influenced by black music? He sang in church.
Hillbilly, gospel, black. Yeah, kind of all coincide, Appalachian music. I mean, it all comes from, the country comes from the Celtics, the fiddle, rockabilly, Ozark music.
What? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know what this is. It's just like
I like
rumbling.
The scary. Because I'm just imagining like Dracula playing the guitar. It's like it was a scary guy.
I can't carry a note.
No, my brother couldn't carry a note in a handbag. No.
There we go.
Yeah.
And Mike shits on him a little bit too. Mike's like,
sure.
yeah, your brother can't carry a note. Like,
Sylvester Stallone, otherwise completely talentless. Brings nothing to the table.
Yeah, that's the thing about Frank, though. You're right, Zip, is that because Frank can sing okay, like he could sing fine. He's serviceable. He sings the Frank Sinatra style of singing. That's his thing, right? That's fine. He's a crooner, and he's an okay guitar. Like he's okay. He's fine. He's serviceable. He's not breaking any new ground. He's not Eddie Van Halen. He's not Sammy Hagar, a rock singer. So like that's where he'll never be. But that being said, just because Sly can't do what he does passably, serviceably, that makes Sly sort of like less than. Like, no, you just have a different talent.
right.
Sly has a different talent than you, Frank, but he kind of succeeded at it. He's worth $500 million for a reason. Like he's kind of created his own empire, his own Star Wars universe and the Rock universe. Like he's created this universe that's made him a couple dollars, I think.
Right.
But he's got to make fun of Sly singing because that's his thing. Like I got that on him. I got that on Sly.
He's got to bash him.
Stage being an entertainer, it just came natural to me. You know, someone said, "Hey, you should maybe take some voice lessons." It wrecked me for like months because what happens? You start becoming self-conscious, knowing that you were doing fine. You know, the guy goes, "Actually, you do sing correctly." So you know that's why a lot of these singers like Steven Tyler, John Mayer, John Bon Jovi end up having a lot of vocal problems because you know you can't scream like that.
He just mentioned Steven Tyler, of course, they just retired after a 52-year career. That's amazing. And I'm a huge Aerosmith fan. So when they retired officially, because Steven's vocals are finally gone, the guy is, I think, Frank's age. And he has been, quote unquote, not screaming, but he's always sung in that kind of higher range or whatever. That's Steven's singing, raspy, higher range. But he's been doing it for 52 years just in Aerosmith alone. That's amazing, right? Now, Frank has to throw the dig, like, oh yeah, this is why. Look at them, you know, John Bon Jovi's lost his vocals. Yes, but they've also, both bands have sold hundreds of millions of albums, have toured the world over, hundreds of, like, their careers are so, their legacy is done. Like, it's in the books.
Right.
They're just older now. You're right, Frank. They've gotten older and their vocals can't manage what they used to. No one can anymore when they get into their 60s and 70s. That's just called aging. Axl Rose is the same way. Every artist, especially certain types of singing, they reach a stage and age that their body can't handle anymore. But I love how he's saying, I've kept my vocals intact.
Right. He hasn't even done anywhere near as many concerts as these people have done.
And all-star pitchers have bad shoulders. It's like, what happens when you're pushing yourself, you know.
Yeah, so I just thought that was very telling where he brings up these amazing artists who've had incredible careers. Whether you like their music or not is irrelevant. They're hundreds of millions, multi-millionaires, amazing fan base. But he mentions that his vocals are intact. Okay, Frank, you've got that. He, again, like Sly, you have that over these. John Bon Jovi and Steven Tyler have both pretty much, like, I think John Bon Jovi's also retired from touring because his vocals can't do it anymore. He's admitted that. It's like, they can't do it anymore. And that's okay.
No, they're also
my body's retired.
Say they're also old. I mean, that's what people do. They retire when they get old because I mean that's a lot of work to go on tour and be on the road away from home that long. I mean, it's tiring for young people.
Well, he's got his vocal cords intact, but not only does he have his vocal cords intact, he's got incredible ears.
My ears checked. Matter of fact, I think it was Costco. I was just there. Yeah, let me get my ears checked because I have really good hearing.
Now, before he gets into his hearing, did you catch what he revealed about his own celebrity with this story, or non-celebrity?
The guy didn't know who he was. And
that's
he's like,
right.
I'm a rock musician. That's what he said.
Yes. So that's very telling that Frank could go to some. Now, could you imagine if Sly walked in for a hearing check? Do you think the doctor would have recognized Stallone?
Well, Sly doesn't have as good of hearing. Yeah,
that's right, because he can't go to the doctor.
Nowhere, can't hear as well. Nowhere.
He's actually tone deaf. Sly.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think it was Costco. I was just there. Yeah, let me get my ears checked because I have really good hearing. And I went in there, and the guy goes, "How old are you?" I said, "Well, at that point, I was about 68." He goes, "Wow, your hearing's really good." He goes, "What do you do? What do you do for a living?" I said, "I'm a rock musician." He goes, "What?" Usually, most of the guys I know have hearing aids already. You know, they're blown out. I said, "Well, how come I have this really incredible hearing?" He says, "It's genetic, but you have narrow canals in your ear. And it could be the way your ears shape. Because, I mean, I used to play loud in these clubs. I mean, I wasn't like Peter, Paul, and Mary. I was blowing out hard, you know, big amps and stuff like that." He says, "You're just lucky." I mean, most of my drummers have hearing aids. A lot of guys, like it's poor Steven Stills. He's like almost deaf. I don't know how you get deaf with Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and then you got Ted Nugent, who no one played louder than him. But, you know, Pete Townsend's almost deaf.
You know, the Who, whatever.
He's got to get one over on somebody. Like everything he says, he's got to like be like, "Oh, they might have a better, career than me, but they're deaf."
But I've trained with you. You didn't have ear pods when I.
Well, when I'm with you guys, it's like I love it.
I kind of like hearing what's going on.
No, I do too, but sometimes I go in the gym and
It's some of the dumbest conversations I've ever heard in my life. I mean,
sometimes I wear it because it's to keep what I'm not listening to. The bullshit conversation with the trainer. with the guys.
whatever. I mean, all they're talking about.
Okay, that's the first of 2 times that Frank does the whatever voice. He did it again later in the interview. I don't know if you caught it. What this conversation was, folks, basically, is they're talking about when they go to the gym, do they or do not they wear headphones? I think you're a maniac, an absolutely sociopathic maniac. If you go to the gym or do any kind of exercise without any kind of stimulation via headphones. The fact that you're just going there to hear the clink and clanks of barbells.
He's lonely. This is probably his only like social interaction with people.
He's waiting for somebody to recognize him.
Yeah.
But Mike kind of says, well, I put them in because I don't want to hear the conversation with the trainers. Yes, I'm the same way. Like, I would rather be on a bus full of people who are speaking a language that I don't speak because then I don't hear the conversation. I would just hear, like, I'm not listening because I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. So it becomes a drone. But if I can actually understand the conversation, I can't help but listen because you're like, there are words being spoken and like, so I put headphones in because I don't want canceling headphones in because I don't want to hear you guys talk about your workout program or how the weekend went. That's cool that you're there with your buddy, but I'm here by myself. I want to train by myself and listen to music by myself. Anyways, but Frank's like, no. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be there in the moment. Just experience. And this won't be the first time he brings up headphones. There's more ramblings from about the earbuds. This is the big discussion point. This was like 15 minutes of this interview was the earbuds or AirPods or whatever they're called, like headphones, essentially headphone conversation about blocking noise out and listening to something you'd rather like. The whole reason why headphones were invented is that we could carry sounds around with us wherever we go without having to be in the home listening to it on the speakers, right? We could exit our vehicles or exit our homes and keep listening to whatever music or talking that we were hearing in the cars or at home. But in Frank's eyes, you have to be in a stationary position listening to music.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the only time I actually put any kind of thing in my ear, even with my phone, I usually talk on the speaker. I don't like it in my ear. In my car, I don't put thing in my ear. Only time if I'm listening to something that's like a subliminal tape, like a self-help tape or
subliminal tape? What in the world is that?
What does he listen to when he goes to bed?
He says the self-help book or something. Yeah, audiobook. Frank, that's what we're talking about. Like, I listen to audiobooks all the time, but I don't listen to subliminal tapes. Can you imagine putting a subliminal tape in that says, eat better?
Yeah. You're the greatest rock star in the world. Yeah. You're better than the Beatles.
He probably listens to it's him talking. He narrates his own.
You're a better singer than Sly. He's tone deaf.
Or take them out. I mean, I mean, I've seen people all day long. I mean, when I see today's younger guys walking around, they have victim written all over them. They're walking with headphones, earpods, like this. They're not even looking where they're going. I said, so for a guy with bad intentions, you're like, come on, man. You're like sheep going to slaughter because you're not aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of where you're walking. I see people walk across Wilshire like this.
Oh, yeah.
Where does he live? What war zone does Frank live in? Where if you're wearing headphones, you're going to be assaulted. You probably shouldn't look down your phone when you're walking, just like any kind of mode of travel. You should be aware of your surroundings. But he's also talking about people will now, it's like you've got these thugs out, hiding behind lampposts, waiting to, oh, no, we can't mug that guy. He doesn't have headphones in. Oh, that guy's got headphones in now. All right. Well, he's good to go. Let's get him.
Right. There's a great freeze frame here, by the way, of him.
No,
they're not and so you're leaving it up to the guy that's driving on Wilshire who's probably texting and not paying attention. So this is going to be like you got to
I agree.
So he's saying the guy driving the car is texting, the guy walking is texting, and there you go, folks. Both will be dead at the intersection. Okay. This was a very telling moment here. Ever since the Atlantic City gig in 2022, all of his gigs have been at casinos. And that's what he does. So he doesn't play to his fans. He plays to casino guests, whoever happens to be in the area at the time.
It's like a lounge singer.
Whatever it might be. It's just basically he is the live music when people are gambling. and some people might know his stuff. So it's like, hey, you know, Dom and I were at the tables. You hear some music being played. Hey, Dom, let's go get a bite to eat. We sit down and eat, and there's Frank playing guitar. Like, we're the audience at that moment, come and go, whatever. Now, he reveals this throughout the interview. This is one of his first clues here, where he talks about he doesn't play to the fans. See, when I go to a concert, I'm going to because I'm a fan of the band. He goes to where the paying gig is what I'm saying.
Right.
He's a hired musician at these casino gigs.
He talked about this on another podcast too, where he went somewhere in the middle of nowhere. They didn't know my music. They were hillbillies or something like that.
He repeats that story on this podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He repeats the same story where they didn't know who he was, or spitting in jars, tobacco, whatever.
He was in, I don't know, like the place he was painting in my mind is like a bar at a roadhouse or something like that.
And I'm responsible for what goes on that stage. Whether it's going to be a good show, you have to go on thinking subconsciously, I'm going on stage to people I've never met, maybe some who've never heard my music.
There you go. That's proof. He recognizes the people that are in front of him might not know who he is or what his music is, which is kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened with Jack Black in Australia. How do you, and he's going to get the flack. How do you have your show? It's your show, and you let the guy say something about President Trump. Well, next time don't miss. You're responsible for your stage. So now you've had to cancel your tour. This guy's probably going to get arrested for well, how stupid is that?
He doesn't know what Tenacious D is, which isn't surprising.
Definitely not.
Because they're talented. It's telling that he doesn't know because Kyle Gass is the other half of the group. It's not a random guitarist that plays with Jack Black. So it's technically he's the other. It's
his writing partner for 25 years.
Yeah. And what Kyle Gass said was stupid. That was a dumb thing to say. I don't have any sympathy for Trump. Couldn't care less. But other people died at that shooting. It was stupid for Kyle Gass to say that. And it put Jack Black in an impossible spot.
Frank talks about how he's saying that Jack Black should have had the foresight or the ability to stop someone to freely speak. How would he be able to do that?
Right.
But the thing is Jack did take responsibility. After the thing happened, the taking of the responsibility, Frank, was him saying, we're shutting down shows. We're taking a temporary break as a band till the dust settles and time moves on and we can figure things out. And Kyle Gass has already offered his apology. It was a joke. It was a poor joke. It wasn't funny. It was still a joke. Obviously, Kyle Gass at his heart of hearts doesn't want anyone dead. It was just a stupid joke. Jack took responsibility. Frank realizes that on the previous Instagram video that he got it wrong, that he thought Jack said it. So now he's just doubling down. Okay. He's just doubling down, saying, well, but Jack still needs to be in charge of the people. No, that's not how it works, Frank. He can't control what people are going to say, but he did take charge, meaning, things shut down, and Jack Black's out of money too, right?
The national anthem for the Home Run Derby. So I actually watched it live as it was happening. I'll be honest, when it was immediate to because I was watching it with a group and we were all like, wow, that woman sounds like ass, and it was like, oh, she's a Grammy nominated. And I was like, the music Grammys? I thought that she had you guys are audio recorders. If you've ever had a circumstance where your audio is delayed in your headphones,
sure,
it's impossible to talk. It throws you off. Yeah. And when I watched it, that's what I thought was happening. I thought, she's having an equipment error or something. And then it turns out she was just lit, she was blitzed.
Well, did you see recently, just a few days ago, there was a country singer that sang the national anthem at a sporting event?
She was drunk.
Right.
That's an embarrassment.
The rock singers that I've enjoyed growing up, they've been freaking.
They were all fucked up. Yeah.
Amazing. And look, she's a bad singer, and she might have been drunk, but I love the way Frank says it, almost like how deplorable. The bands that Frank likes, how many times have the Beatles performed on marijuana or something?
Right.
He's actually so kind of self-righteous. That was a little bit of a self-righteous thing because it was the national anthem that she butchered because of her sobriety. Mm-hmm. He's like, because she was drunk. Okay, relax, Frank. You know how many performers perform drunk, please?
Right.
Why would anybody?
Because she's an idiot.
But did you hear how horrible
it was?
She was?
Horrible. And see, that's what I'm talking about. That's just irresponsible, disrespectful, one, to the song, the national anthem, and just disrespectful. I mean, you cannot contain yourself. You know, you go on stage, thousands of people, and you made a fool of yourself.
But Frank, she sounded like she never sang before.
She was drunk. Yeah, it was horrible. And
Fair.
Okay, you guys.
Fair.
Wow.
She did sound like she never sang. I mean, I could have done a better job. Or at
She
least
sounded
on
terrible,
par.
but the way they just kept going on about her being drunk. Okay, relax, guys. There's such.
It wasn't like, you know, she was singing it at the tomb of the unknown soldier, or like it's the home run derby. It's a party. Like I would have been drunk too if I was at the home.
It's not even a real baseball game. It's not even a regular baseball game.
They're hitting dinger after dinger, you know.
you know, when you play casinos, you can't go on stage. You know, there's people there, all for those kids. Not that I'm doing a Disney show. I mean, I can get a little off too. But, you know, I go, let your talent speak. Don't be vile. I mean, you watch the Stones. They don't curse. They don't go on stage and go, okay, we're F this. They don't do it.
Again, the Stones, yes, we know, a huge legacy. Incredible. Like, we get it. There's nothing, whether you like your music or not, you cannot take away their legacy. It's insane. It's insane what they've done for 6 decades. He won't say it, but there's a certain genre and maybe a certain race of people that play a certain genre that he's referring to. And because he talks about crotch grabbing, he talks about language, and
they're black.
So who is this soup at the Super Bowl? Who is he referencing? Was that Maroon 5 when it was Adam Levine?
He talks about crotch grabbing, I think.
But I think some rappers came out this past Super Bowl.
Why is he talking about the casino like it's this sanctuary? I've been at the casino and seen people spit on the floor. You know, it's like
right.
The Super Bowl intermission at halftime, there was this one performer. He kept grabbing his crotch the whole time. And I was getting really mad because there's children out there.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children? What kind of an example are we setting?
Ladies, please.
Okay, I hate the term boomers, but this is boomer. I know this is
grabbing his crotch, and there's children
grabbing it. I will say I did learn from this interview because he referenced his birthday, and I looked it up for some reason. He literally has my dad's exact birthday. Yeah, and my dad's also peak boomer. So,
and I hate that term, but if you say that person's acting like a Karen, you both will already in your mind have the image of what that Karen might be, right? That's what a Karen's done. Like, we already know what that behavior is like. They are acting like boomers. When you say, "Oh, you're such a boomer," this whole interview is prime boomer talk. This is cliche, but this is why boomer exists. This is why that term exists, is these two boomers talking the way they are about crotch grabbing. Frank is jealous of young stars covering songs. You tell me why you think it's hypocritical.
It's like when the Jonas Brothers, how dare you sing Georgia with Ray Charles? I wouldn't even go near that. That's like his thing. That'd be like me singing, Nessun Dorma of Pavarotti. Are you crazy?
Who do you think he says is the greatest band that ever lived?
Well, the Beatles, right? I think he references that.
Okay, he should be saying the Beatles.
Yeah, I think he will agree. I think he said the Beatles. Okay, what band did he say that he covered when he was in his 20s? So, sorry, Frank, this is where I'm calling it your BS. You're getting mad at the Jonas Brothers for covering what you feel is a great, untouchable type performance or song or artist, but you covered the Beatles. Like, you are worthy to touch the Beatles, but the Jonas Brothers, who are more popular than you, can't cover a band or an artist that's less than the Beatles.
But everybody covers songs. It's been going on forever.
Yes.
There's songs you don't even realize are covers. Yeah, they started their career. Their first few albums are covers.
That's right. Half their albums are cover songs. It's just irritating.
The Stones did the same thing.
Of course they did. What a cover does is the audience is familiar with the song. It's a hit or whatever it might be. So they're familiar with it, and you're a new artist. What you're doing is you're bringing your own flavor or style to that song. So the person will be, you know what? I like what they did with I recognize what they did, so I'm already enjoying the song, and I like what these guys did with it. I wonder what their stuff sounds like, because I kind of like their spin on this song. That's all it does, and it works. Honestly, it's always worked.
Frank should probably just, when he performs those casinos, he should probably just do covers.
Probably a better performance. Also, why is
Yeah.
Georgia by Ray Charles like the untouchable song?
So that's more untouchable than any Beatles catalog? Forget it. I'm sorry. No offense, but I consider the Beatles catalog a little bit better than that song, but that's just me. They talk about Rick James for a bit. They went on this Rick James tirade, and they're saying how great he was, even though he's weird and he looked weird. They weren't crazy about that. And, there was a comment that Frank makes about
group. I mean, he was a real player. I mean, that whole thing with the Jerry curl, super freak. But he was a real musician. I mean, he could really play.
Oh, he was amazing, his voice sounded so sharp. This is after he got released out of Folsom prison.
After prison, yeah.
And he told me what he went through as a black man that dated white women.
Oh.
He said the very first day when he went to prison, the white guards threw him on the ground, put one of the sergeants.
Mike interviewed Rick James, which is kind of cool, interesting, like good for Mike. And he's telling a story here that Rick James told him in that interview that when he went to jail, that he got assaulted by the white guards, which is horrific because he dated white women. So the guards like you, and they assaulted him, literally put their foot on his neck because he dated white women. This is a horrible story, but Frank can't shut the F up and let Mike tell the story.
Put his boot on his throat and peed all over him.
Are you serious?
And he said,
that's pretty.
Yeah, he said to him, he did that because he said, how dare you date white women?
Wow.
And
he was dating Tina Marie.
So he just finished
he says it with a smile too, like this gruesome story, and he's like, well, did you know he was dating Tina Marie?
I know Mike literally just told the story about Rick James being suffocated with the boot in his throat and being peed on by the guards. And Frank's like, yeah, he dated that white girl, Tina Marie.
And the smile. He dated Tina Marie. You know that.
And then listen.
So
and she was good and she died too.
But
and she was good, and the prison guards, they beat her up too.
I like how there's this implication that it's like if you're a good musician, you shouldn't die. Despite her musical abilities, she still died.
All right, as we close up this interview, I think it's important that we get into politics. This episode was titled like Rock and Roll History or the History of Rock and Roll. So it was a music centric, like that was the topic that Frank's bringing to the table. But I kind of wish they went full politics because, we all know that Frank is a genius when it comes to politics. They talk about how Trump isn't perfect, just like another beloved president, JFK wasn't perfect. So JFK
was a womanizer.
Total.
He had the tunnels where the prostitutes and the girlfriends were coming in, but they still looked at him as a saint, one of the most incredible presidents in the world. What did Trump do any different?
Basically, he's saying JFK was a womanizer. He bedded a lot of ladies. Might I add, consensually, probably. I think the woman enjoyed being with JFK. That being said, he's basically saying, how is that any different than how Trump is? That's the question that's posed. They're basically saying, all we have is two womanizing presidents. Come on, what's the big deal? What's the difference?
The only thing that Trump and JFK have in common is they've both been shot in the head. That's, I think, where the comparisons start. And I don't know if that's tacky, but it's more an observation than anything.
No, well,
I think enough time has passed.
I think enough time has passed. It's like Abraham Lincoln. Abraham kind of make jokes. At some point, it's okay to make jokes about Abraham Lincoln too. But
the Lincoln jokes are off limit, right?
I think the difference though is, again, I wasn't alive in the early 60s, so I'm not familiar with how things were, but I'm sure if the public was aware of JFK's womanizing, it would have had a negative effect on him. I don't think the average person knew the extent.
No, you're right.
JFK.
It was different back then. It was different.
There was kind of a culture too of like a lot of the media knew about his affairs and kind of hid it, and like it was, I guess, it was just a different environment.
No, I agree. Okay, I've got some more boomer talk.
How about if I meet you tomorrow? How about if I call you? What time do you get home?
So they're talking about how in our day, to get a date, we would have to be there in person and give them our number, and we'd call and make plans face to face type thing. That's not what kids do nowadays. Now they just do it over their phone.
That's more organic now. You can order a girl or a guy, whatever you want, like ordering pizza. There's no personal connection.
No.
It's visual stimulation.
What do you think would happen? God forbid.
Okay, first, Frank, can you take that freaking ice out of your mouth?
Come around, wrong.
Talking about Tinder.
Did you know he dated Tina Marie?
Well, what we were talking about with this, if the grid went down, I unfortunately think there would be a high suicide rate amongst young.
Extreme panic. Oh, yeah.
Panic. If they didn't have a cell phone, because when you rely on this, I'm an information junkie, so I'm on the internet. I just want to find out history and stuff.
Of course, Boomer Frank, your internet usage, totally legitimate, totally proper. That's acceptable. But these young kids who are socializing via text or chats or whatever, that's just, how dare they? Oh, that's not the way. That's not how we socialize. I just use it for history because I'm a history buff. That's why I use it. And when I post my Instagram photos wearing no shirt and coveralls and what have you. But I love how he uses it properly and not kids. And then it's like if the internet goes down, there's going to be mass suicides. No, not really. I would almost argue that people would probably might be actually be mentally healthier without the internet. I would suspect that people
inarguably, yes.
Yes. Funny how he's saying people would be upset, but people aren't going to take their father's shotgun and blow their faces off because the internet's down.
But a lot of people are lacking social skills. They go, well, how did you get a date? I said, well, you had to talk to somebody.
They talk about when they break up over the phone, and Frank does another whatever from a girl's voice perspective. Here it is. This is number 2 of that.
Well, dating's so impersonal now.
It's very impersonal, and you can tell someone that you don't want to see them anymore by texting.
Yeah, breakups are people are notorious for breaking up via text. It's simple.
Whatever.
My favorite part of it is that you hear it off screen, like when he's on mic and you just hear whatever.
I know. I was taking notes listening. I mean, I have the YouTube video up and I'm listening to the podcast as I'm taking notes. And so I'm like, oh, and I went back to the video. I was like, no, they didn't show it. I would have given $100 to see his face when he does that whatever voice. Okay. Well, I wrote down here, Frank is making peace with his non-success. As he usually does with these. Have you noticed that, Dom? That he ends up making peace with it somehow?
It's a whole process. It's like a therapy session.
World. Yeah, are there things what could I have been more successful if things happen? But everything happens for a reason. I have my health. My dear mom lived almost 99, my father 92. I've had my tragedies like everyone else, but
so in other words, I'm just a normal person. It's like, well, that sounds like my life. My parents are still alive. They're in their mid-70s. I have my health. I have a good family. In fact, I have a wife and kids. Frank, I might argue my life's more full than yours.
You talk to your children.
I do talk to isn't that weird? I actually talk to my adult children, Frank. I have adult children that I have a healthy relationship with. The interview ends this way, talking about the dangerous times we're living in right now. These are not good times, guys. And I really feel bad for you two because you're both American. I'm Canadian up here. So I feel bad for you guys, but are you guys okay that you're living in these dangerous times down there?
It's all the headphone wearing. That's it.
I have a gun to my head right now.
Yeah.
Hey, easy, Don. We still have the internet. Don't do it.
We still have the internet. I still have my headphones. So,
well, this is a warning. This is Frank giving us a warning.
Well, I got to say, Frank, this has been a hell of an interview.
Yeah, we kept going. Well, it was supposed to be 20 minutes. Like
it's an hour and 15 minutes.
You know why? Flow of energy.
But you know what? We covered very important topics.
Yeah.
And it'll make people think.
Yeah, and I think people have to start thinking. Right. I mean, we're living in a very tumultuous time, very dangerous time, very volatile time. And I think people just got to take a chill pill and think about what you're doing. Think about where you're going. Think about what's going to happen a year from now or this or that. I mean, put it in perspective. And, and just like the violence, the craziness, the hatred, the vitriol, it's got to go. Nothing gets done when that happens.
Are you guys okay down there? I'm worried. Are you both experiencing anything down there that I should be aware of?
Tumultuous? Sure. Volatile? Sure. Dangerous? I mean, this is what happens when people of his demographic watch too much of a particular news channel. They
interesting.
would imagine that's where he gets most of his information about the world.
what we'll do is we'll just play the last video of his Instagram, his latest one of Instagram. I think is the one worth playing. We'll end with that, and then that'll be our show. But before we get to his Instagram video, two things about his Instagram. Actually, he's not posting very often anymore, Dom. He's not posting very much. I don't know if it's his back or his health. Definitely no workout videos.
No workouts, no bourbon.
Okay.
Have you gotten the bourbon yet?
I went on Instagram to follow up on my bourbon order. I was like to the Uncle Frank's bourbon. Okay. Zipper, you're sitting down. It's already out of business. It's done. The company that owned or ran Uncle Frank's bourbon is now called Wild Skies Bourbon. So what they've done is that they have taken off the label Uncle Frank and put on over top or instead of, it's now called Wild Skies Bourbon. They're still active on Instagram. The Uncle Frank's is gone. All the posts gone.
It's like it never even happened. It's like a Twilight Zone episode.
Did anybody ever get their hands on it?
I hold it.
Yes, this is
because I was going to say whoever's got those bottles, that's going to be a relic now.
So Dom still has his unopened, which is amazing.
Limited
Dom,
edition.
why don't you show the audience what you have now, Dom? Dom has in his possession something that does not exist anymore. It's still sealed.
I wouldn't even drink it at this point.
Now, one of Uncle Frank's old posts that he kept up regarding the bourbon. It's not taken down yet. I wrote underneath, "What the F? Where's my bourbon? Still haven't gotten it. I ordered in January of 24. Where's my bourbon?" They messaged me right away. Because I tagged Wild Skies, because that was what they're called now. I tagged them in it. They got back to me on my personal messenger because it's the same chat box that I had with Uncle Frank.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same company,
right.
Just rebranded.
Oh, and I wrote "Will my order be honored?" 3 question marks. "Yes, sir," they wrote back. "We are moving stock, and you will get it as well as a refund."
Oh,
free bourbon.
So I wrote, "May I ask what happened? And thank you. I hope you do, and you'll be plugged positively when that happens." They didn't see the chat yet, or they haven't looked at it, and that was again sent. Oh, that was sent July 30th. Gordon, I still haven't received it. I haven't received any update. These guys, man, I don't know what they're running. I don't know what kind of mom pa shop shenanigans they're running, but it's absolutely ridiculous. So they still have yet to post anything on their Wild Skies Bourbon Instagram.
Crazy.
There is no contact information. The only way you can get a hold of them, if you go to the Uncle Frank's Bourbon site, it's gone. It's done. Here's what's crazy, guys.
Wild.
I can't even look at my order anymore. They have literally stolen my money.
That's
Jesus.
wild. And now we can never get Uncle Frank's, the clothes, the shirt. It's all gone.
Talk about the airplane crash before it even left the airfield. I mean, Jesus, it didn't even.
What do you guys speculate happened here? Because we've heard from Robert that he's not the easiest person to get along with. Like, do you think this was maybe some kind of disagreement and they kicked him out of the bourbon? Or I wonder what it was.
Either that or the pre-orders were underwhelming. And it just wasn't worth it to continue forward producing the bourbon and giving Frank his cut for his image use.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. It's always about money. Even if he's a controversial figure or difficult to work with, but they were making money hand over fist, we'll work with this guy, right? You would still work with somebody despite their controversy. It didn't sell. Uncle Frank's bourbon did not sell. They're like, hey, we could probably still make money off this thing if we change the brand and cut Frank out. So he had nothing to do. He was just a face on the label at the end of the day.
That's an impressive failure.
It really is. It was very quick.
3 months? I ordered in January and it was out of business in 7 months later. So it was 7 months. It wasn't even open for 7 months because I pre-ordered. So it was February till July. Done.
My favorite part of this is just that it's just wiped from existence. Like, it's like it never happened. Does the Instagram even exist or anything? Did he pull the videos or anything like that?
Everything's gone.
It's like this is the only trace that it even existed. Is this follow?
This is like the Mandela effect.
That could be a collector's item someday.
I thought it was because I lived in Canada that I haven't got mine, but there are Americans that actually watch our show that contact me who will give me messages on Facebook and they tell me they too haven't or Instagram. I'm not the only one that hasn't received their bottle. This isn't just me. Like, I'm not the one person that Wild Sky / Uncle Frank's hasn't delivered to. So there you go, folks.
Really
The
wild
drama
stuff.
continues. I'm not done yet. I will harass these guys and keep bugging them. But yeah, I want an Uncle Frank's labeled bourbon. I don't want any Wild Skies. Okay, we're gonna do one last video because I think this one's worth it. We'll end on this one. It's from his Instagram. So this is the latest video. This one just came out just a couple days ago at the time of this recording. Wearing his Uncle Frank or his Dr. Stallone, his Dr. Stallone scrubs. And yes, Dob, he's wearing his sunglasses inside the house. Why? Why is he wearing his shades in the house? So he's wearing his shades and he's wearing his scrubs. Any ideas why he's doing both?
No idea.
Why does he have scrubs?
He's a crazy person. He is a crazy person.
Okay, well, we're about to get political, so get just strap in, folks. I also want you to note the dandruff on his black scrubs. I would just recommend don't wear black if you have dandruff. It's a bad combination. Well, it just goes to show his hair might be fake, but the dried skin is real.
The dandruff is real.
Morning, everybody. Well, sometimes I take a morning walk somewhere, and it's unbelievable. You say good morning to someone walking by, they have their stupid AirPods in their ear. Their faces are just blank.
I think you're right, Zip. You're talking about when he goes to the gym, that's his social time. He's lonely. He doesn't have anybody. So when he goes to the gym expecting conversations with people working out, but they have their headphones in, they don't want to talk. They can't be bothered. So he's talking about he goes for a walk. He sees somebody walking by him. He says hello, but they have a blank stare on their face with their headphones in, not paying attention to you, not saying hi back to Uncle Frank. And he's upset about this. Not only is he upset, but he's actually saying these people are terrible for doing this, for wearing headphones while they go for walks. I go for jogs every day with my dog. I would never walk my dog again if I never had headphones. I don't care about the internet, but I need headphones.
I don't think I would say hello to somebody who approached me in doctor's scrubs either, though. In the street.
Or if I recognized it was Frank Stallone, I'd say, "Oh shit, that's Frank Stallone." I'm gonna look down.
They're just scared, faceless lizards.
Wow.
Says the man molting in front of us.
Where does he get off? They're a stranger that you don't know. Maybe this is how they deal with their mental health. You're questioning their own journey in life. Like, I need to go for a walk, listen to meditation music, or listen to rock and roll. Maybe I'm listening to Frank Stallone's Far From Over. And here you are, like, criticizing my journey. Like, this is my journey. Like, I don't need to interact with you. That's not part of my journey. But in Frank's world, oh, that's weird. The world rotates around Frank. I should have known better. My apologies.
It's amazing. So, if you think California is sunny and nice,
okay. The ramblings of an older man. I'm sorry. You think this was a segue, but it wasn't. That was topic one. Topic one is people wearing headphones, not saying hi to me when I'm going for a walk. They are cold-blooded lizards. Topic two, California, the state of the place of Hollywood. If you're coming here to make it big in Hollywood or in California, I've got some words for you, and here they are.
And you think you're going to come out here and be an actor and actress? Take it from me.
I never made it.
For almost 50 years. Take it from me. I've been doing this for almost 50 years. Your chances nowadays may be 1 in 10 million. So be prepared to keep your day job and go out and make a living. Because if you think you're going to make it in this business as an actor or something, chances are nil now.
You know who he's talking to?
Rob?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
He is.
Jesus Christ.
This isn't funny. He's not being silly or funny. This is personal, guys. Now picture him talking to Robert. Remember, he said this to Robert. We heard this from Robert. This is what he told Robert. I think Frank has watched our show. And I think he's given a message to Robert because Robert watches our show. And Robert's blocked on Instagram. So Robert can't see this video. So it's only by our show that Robert can see this message.
That almost gave me goosebumps connecting those dots. That's really, I don't know. I don't even know what the word is.
It's bone chilling.
Nowadays, maybe 1 in 10 million. Take it from me. I've been doing this for almost 50 years. Your chances nowadays may be 1 in 10 million. So be prepared to keep your day job and go out and make a living. Because if you think you're going to make it in this business as an actor or something, chances
Or
are nil
something.
now. They hardly do auditions. And, it's become an unhappy, dreary.
He is so threatened by anybody that he's even telling people to not even bother trying to come to Hollywood because you're going to fail. Like, he doesn't want anyone to succeed. It's almost like he's tired of everyone succeeding and not him, that now he's telling everyone never to succeed because he's just tired of being lapped by young people. He's constantly being lapped by other actors that are half his age, performers that are half his age, if not even 2/3 his age. And he's tired of it. So now he's just telling everyone, stop coming here. Stop trying to take my business away because you are. So don't come here, because if you are going to come here, you're not going to make it. So it's either directed directly at his son or bit at his son, also at anyone who's going to come and try to take what he's got as he sees it. It's so selfish. His speaking here, it should be, hey, you know what, guys? It's a tough business to get into. It's not easy. It's 10 million to 1. Be prepared for disappointments. Keep your head up. Keep doing what you love. Love what you're doing, but just be mindful that it's a lottery. It is a lottery of luck and opportunity. So you might have to do that day job that everyone else has to do, but go for it. By all means, you can't lose. You can't win the lottery if you don't play. So go for it, but just be prepared not to win necessarily, but just to have fun and do your best. Instead, he's like, F all of you for trying.
And especially coming from, like, he's not really a success, but you're coming from that. On paper, you're a musician, your brother's an actor. Why wouldn't you have a better attitude about this shit?
Because he's failed. And the only reason why he has any modicum of success is because of his brother's coattails. There's no world, there's no universe where his music would have ever been used in that Staying Alive film directed by his brother. Because like the whole reason why that fucking album exists is because his brother directed the film. If his brother didn't direct that film, his music would not have been used in said film because nobody would have cared about contacting Frank Stallone for some disco song. He believes he lives in a world where he would have had the same success he has now, maybe even more, had Sly not been around. It's actual insanity.
Well, he's wearing scrubs.
But it's amazing walking around. You go to the
So now topic 3 is the state of California.
Midwest, you go down the South. Good morning. Hey, good morning. How are you? Here, this stupid.
Oh, sorry. We reinvestigate topic 1. Sorry. He started topic 1 saying everyone is zombie-like lizard faces, listen to headphones. Then he tells Robert / anyone else, don't come to Hollywood. You're going to fail. Then he circles back and closes up the video with headphone-wearing zombies.
Mask, this frozen mask with ear pods, with this stupid blank look in their face. They don't even say hello. So it's not as friendly as you think out here. But I'm friendly. You're friendly.
He just showed the opposite in the last 5 minutes of this video.
Have you ever had to announce to anyone the level of your kindness?
I'm friendly.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, if you have to tell people you're friendly, you're probably not friendly.
But hey, by the way, I'm actually quite friendly.
I'm friendly. You're friendly.
Have a great day. God bless.
But I just want to say this is interesting that we are almost just kind of doing this monthly because his Instagram videos have really dropped. Like there's 3 that I picked, and we only showed 1 today. Had this been just a Instagram kind of video session that we did in July, I would have done all the other videos. We would have cracked wise on them. But he was on the Torchia Show, so that was worthy of that. But yeah, I don't know what next month is going to bring because the level and amount of videos, he's making our job hard.
You're in his head, Ryan.
I don't know. I don't know if he's listened to our show other than the one that Robert was on. I don't know. But there's a part of me that thinks his Instagram has changed since we started our show. So who knows?
The Frank Stallone content is dwindling. It's fading.
It's crazy. Well, we still have the drama with the whiskey. We're going to reinvestigate Frank at the end of September. We'll see what he's up to. Look, he's going to have some stuff to say as this politics thing heats up. The way he presents his opinions is what we'll discuss regarding his candidate. It will be an interesting time between September and November.
Yeah.
If Trump wins, it'll be very interesting to see Frank's reaction to the victory, what he feels Trump will do for the country. And then if Kamala wins, I kind of hope Kamala wins just so I can watch his videos.
I hope Kamala wins for a lot of other reasons too.
No, for me, it's just the Frank content. I want Kamala Harris to win just so I can watch Frank's video reaction.
Oh, it's going to be great. He's going to have some scorching hot takes on election night. So fingers crossed.
All right, you guys have been absolutely amazing. Dom, why don't you plug your other podcast you do, Dom? It's not just
the Movie Thoughts podcast. Boom. It's just me talking about movies.
And Dom, you do a great job cracking wise, and you're much more let's say calm's the right word, but you just talk about the film. There's no sly voices or Frank content. You just
sometimes.
Yeah. But what I mean is you give great quick synopsis of the films you just watched. I really like listening to you. You got a very calm voice, and it's great. Great show that you do. So yeah, check out Dom's podcast. It will be linked in the show notes as well. Zip, any projects so we can look forward to you from Zip in the future here?
No, not everything's on hiatus. One of the reasons I really wanted to hop in on this is I'm starting the school year, and I don't know if I'll have time this school year. Right. I'm in a pretty rigorous program that's going to run till June, so I'm not sure if I'd have time to commit to doing any podcast appearances. I might. I mean, who knows? Always a pleasure. Always. I hope we get good Frank campaign contents, because I think that's going to get you through here to inauguration day, and I hope we get some follow up on the bourbon. I have a feeling he won't reference it because it sounds like a pretty huge failure on his part.
He hasn't referenced it. No, that's the thing, on his Instagram or otherwise. He hasn't brought out, again, I'm not happy, but I want to make this clear. His bourbon going under does not make me happy. It's the opposite. I wanted to do well. I wanted to have a drinking episode where we celebrate his bourbon. Now we can't. I don't have a bottle, and this business is out of business. It's a fascinating journey, but it doesn't make me happy. I want to see Veterans Day, the film that he's filmed when he was wearing that army outfit. Dom, remember?
Oh God, that hasn't come out yet.
No.
And what about isn't he on the new season? Isn't he going to be on the new season of Tulsa?
No, there's no way. Sly would never do it.
Was filming something in Oklahoma dressed as a sheriff, and I thought we had come to the conclusion that
I think he was just walking the streets dressed as a sheriff.
If this is what I have to do to get people to talk to me on the street,
exactly.
That's what I'll do.
We still have stuff to look forward to, Frank. We want more. Give us more Instagram videos. You're killing us over here. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. And
that concludes another episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?